Boom shakalaka.
The deboned chicken goes into the deboned duck,
Oh.
which then goes into the deboned turkey.
Wait.
So it's chicken into the duck and then into the turkey. I was wrong.
So like bird dolls.
Yeah.
Russian dolls, bird dolls.
Yeah. Well, it made
Someone
that
make Russian dolls.
that
shaped
makes
like this.
way more sense to me now because I had it wrong. I thought it was differently. But that's how you get the greasy goodness of the duck to kiss the two other birds
That
in
makes
the
sense.
cooking process.
That makes complete. Oh, now I need to eat one because that is why duck is good. To be honest, I don't understand why we don't eat duck more often. To be real, other than it's like super like high in cholesterol or really fatty or
Probably.
something.
Probably.
I don't know for sure. So, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's considered like a red meat.
Why don't we harvest more duck? That's interesting.
Are they like? They're not endangered.
I don't think so. There's
I mean,
got to
we
be
see
a
them
duck farm
Why
somewhere.
don't we eat geese more
Some-
often too?
Yeah, I mean,
it's terrible.
Is geese?
It's a real tough meat.
Yeah, they're a real cranky
Oh, maybe
bird.
they're the red meat ones. I know there's birds that are red meat. Yeah, I could kick a goose in the face and not feel bad.
I thought
It just depends
Yes.
how fast it's chasing me.
I thought all duck meat was like dark meat.
I
Oh, it's considered white meat.
okay. Maybe I'm
The other one.
thinking
Although
of fake
Their
shit.
breast
then.
meat is darker than chicken and turkey.
I love dark meat on
breast.
like chicken and turkey, so I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, I'm a
I'm
dark
sure it's
meat.
not good for you.
Yeah, I like the dark meat.
Yeah, I don't-
Thighs,
I don't mind dark meat.
legs.
I prefer. Well, but then anytime I'm thinking about white meat, it's really I'm just thinking about if it's fried chicken, and then I'm like, yeah, I really prefer the white meat over dark meat on the fried chicken. But
dark
fair.
meat is just so much. Oh, trigger warning. So much moister.
Mm.
So much more moist.
Ah, goddamn! I have headphones on. I'm hearing this
Do
in
you not?
4K.
I can't do anything.
I don't care
that.
about our audio levels anymore. I'm logging off.
Do you not like that word?
No, I don't mind it. It's not the worst word, but there are some words that are fun to say. My favorite is insatiable. That's a good one. I like to say that one a lot.
I like cacophony.
Bittersweet cacophony.
I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
I've
good.
ever thought about it.
Yeah.
My bad.
Love that.
so boring. Now you remember when McDonald's used to have dark meat chicken nuggets?
Mm-hmm.
It was
It was
a
very
massive
brief.
shock to me, and I was very upset when they took those away because then all you had was white meat, and I was like, "This is dry as fuck." Even as like I don't even know how old I was. I was like 9 or 10, maybe. I was so pissed.
I am shocked by this. Was this a thing that happened before the universe switch? Like, did my...
Oh shit! Yeah,
Did
it
I
might have
not
just
live
been
for
our
this?
timelines, I
Damn
guess.
it. I don't
But
remember dark meat nuggies, dude.
I was so
missed
mad.
this.
I
They
was
did it
fed a
for a
lot of
very
McDonald's
brief
as a
time.
kid. I had a
Okay.
lot of McDonald's.
Let's check something real quick. At any point in time in your history, do you remember Whoppers only costing $1?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
That was a
know.
long fucking time ago.
Yes, it was. They were also available for breakfast back
June?
then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, do you remember when?
No cheese. It was a full Whopper, though. Yeah,
Oh,
they were $1. It was
sounds
about
really good.
95, 96 maybe. I have distinct memories.
Like that, yeah.
It was a big treat for me in Terre Haute, Indiana, when Mom would run me through the drive-thru, and if we were doing real nice, I might get me 2 Whoppers and save one for later. Cause
Ooh.
man, them Whoppers were good.
Oh,
And you know, when
man,
you're
on
little,
Burger
you can
King.
eat like 40 million calories and
Oh yeah.
Oh,
run
and it
off.
doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, it just doesn't.
No, that
matter.
always went straight to my thighs.
So
I've always had the metabolism of a 40-year-old man.
of what's Bob's Burgers? I'll say I've always had the metabolism of Gene from Bob's Burgers. What's I can't remember their last name.
Although I'm working on it.
The Belchers.
The Belchers, thank you.
What? It's not Bob Burgers?
You
It's
look
I was gonna say
amazing.
I've had the metabolism of Gene Burger.
No, I'm looking forward to my doctor's appointment.
Well,
so I
that's
can get
good.
weighed in.
You know, not a lot of people say that, but yes, no, you've been taking care of yourself. Now,
Right.
and it's good because you've done so without a fitness guru or any sort of life advice type of person, which is good. You did it on your own, and not to suggest that life advice people are a bad idea, but there are absolutely very bad people that you should not take advice from. And we're going to talk at probably length about one of them
They're
here today.
Can,
Oh,
can I guess? Can I guess who we're talking about?
It's well, the difference, right, would be a coach and a cult leader, right?
Well-
And so I think you're thinking of the right cult leader, right?
Andrew Taint,
Oh yeah, that taint guy,
Say
that
it.
tainty guy,
that Taint guy.
Say
that
it, taint so.
tainted by Romanian jail. Is it jail? Is it
I'm
prison?
not a
Is it
rapist. I
incarceration?
just want to be able to do what I want and get away with it.
Because
Well, it's a
women
quote.
don't mean shit. Because someone has a lot of fucking mommy issues. Jesus Christ, dude, go to therapy. Like, what the fuck?
You
So-
maybe not be wrong there. Yeah.
So you guys know what happened,
Yeah,
right?
we probably have to tell the story. There are a lot of people who did not know who this man was who now know this story, but we should probably tell the quick version of the story first. Yeah, Luke.
I didn't know who he was. I had to ask Kelsey.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I enjoy watching videos where people make fun of him.
Yeah,
It's one of my favorite pastimes on YouTube.
every Sunday around 4 p.m. Eastern, shameless plug here, I go live with my good friend Danny on the Clout Route, where we do what we can to expose grifters, con artists, and people who do gross things to chase clout. So you can imagine how often I have had to talk about one Mr. Andrew Tate on that program. So
Oh, it's not Taint?
I am well versed in his
I mean,
douchebaggery. I've even
I
watched
think
the
it's
dude fight.
interchangeable. It's fine.
That's fair.
Yeah, it is Taint actually. That's how you what? That's how you pronounce Andrew Tate. Eh?
It's that one guy with the
Drop a guy.
accent who's having an identity crisis. He has no
Oh.
idea what accent he has.
His accent's like it's turducken.
It flows very much in and out.
Yeah, I kind of.
I think that's an
An
insult
asshole
to
within a
turduckens.
douchebag within a fuckboy.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. And you know how old this dude is, right?
No, actually, I've been surprised by that
I'm guessing
lately.
he's older than me.
36 fucking years old.
36.
Okay?
Oh, that's that.
Don't
sorry,
take it personal. There's
sorry,
plenty of
audio
36-year-olds out
listeners.
there.
I'm so sorry.
AMSR, ASMR, whatever that's called. The thing that makes me
AMSR.
cringe when
Especially
I watch
Automatic
YouTube.
robot sexuals.
We lulled you to sleep with the Cadbury cream egg opening, and now you're
Now you're hearing pens being
jolted
thrown.
awake out of bed. You woke back up. Welcome back to the podcast.
Bring me a chair, I'll Bobby
It-
Knight you.
This dude is 36 years old, okay? And he decided it was a good idea to fuck with then 19-year-old Greta Thunberg by tweeting at her, "Hello at Greta Thunberg. I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has it. Oh man, 16 or a W16 8.0 liter quad turbo. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions." So, how does this queen respond?
The only way you can, really.
I mean, yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com. This dude took that very personal.
Yeah.
He was really upset.
Oh, that burn got him.
Oh my goodness. They need to start calling her Greta
And
Thunderbird.
you could tell.
Because she brings the motherfucking thunder.
Oh,
Ooh.
that girl's a beast in the best way. And you could tell he was really upset, right? Because how did he respond? He said, "How dare you?" That was it.
And
For
he made
real,
a
that was
video.
it.
Well, he made a
Right.
And then-
video.
Yeah, but that was
Nobody
the whole
burned
tweet.
you like people on the fucking spectrum. They can roast your
Rude.
fucking soul, dude. You ever been insulted? Oh my god.
I don't think they mean to be
No,
honest.
and that's-
well, no, sometimes I'm
Sometimes-
sure they
well,
do.
Oh my god, it's epic.
It's a blessing and a curse.
As someone
Right.
with
I
ADHD,
can't
who's-
confirm.
you can just accidentally roast someone too, and it's not even like meant. But this was definitely intentional. She knew, and that's because apparently Greta doesn't take shit. So good for fucking Greta. But yes, tell us. Someone else explain what happened after he tweeted, "How dare you?"
So he recorded a video in his home
I've been laughing for days.
Another one in a robe. So he at this point has at least upgraded from I'm never going to wear a shirt to I'm just going to wear an open robe. He started by smoking a cigar, I believe, and calling out, hang on, let me emit some more emissions out into the sky. And let me just say, I, for one, like every other American, just love a good British accent, right?
Mhm.
There is an advertisement I've heard for Las Vegas on English trains that say your accent is an aphrodisiac. That's how Vegas tries to get people in England to go to Vegas. Like, hey, we'll fuck you just by
Damn.
talking. And it's true,
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
And
Look
I
at Idris Elba, man.
I worship at that altar of goddamn your accent makes me want to take my pants off. However, Andrew Tate does not cross that box. Right? It's
No.
not a good accent. It's
No.
because
He
it's like
doesn't
broken.
know who it is.
Yeah, he's like, what? I can't do. Give me a bottle of water. So when I'm making fun of the accent, all of England, okay, understand. I
No,
only
British
do so
accent's
because this dude's a douchebag. All right, if he were something else, I'd find something else.
awesome.
To
I
make
think
fun of
he's
him about.
faking his
He
accent.
has the
I'm gonna
worst
say it because fuck him.
Cockney, lowbrow,
Yeah,
fucking gutter English accent.
It's like
there
he
is.
He
watched-
sounds fake.
it's like he
Yeah.
watched Snatch and he's trying to copy Brad Pitt.
It's like he just.
Oh, she's a bit partial to the Periwinkle Blueberries.
It's like he only
What?
lived there for I don't know how many years he lived there, but it's like he lived there, couldn't pick up the accent, but really tried so he could fit in.
He
Mm.
sounds
And then
more
just never
Australian than
wanted to
British.
drop it because that's the British thing.
The
Or that I'm
accent-
sorry, that's not the British thing. That's the he went into boxing and all that stuff. He became really on
Oh, maybe
like,
we're just
he
making fun of
went on
somebody
Big
with brain
Brother.
damage.
No, because he was like that beforehand.
Oh.
He, as far as I can tell, going when you look back on his public
Mm.
view, how we've seen him act in public and be recorded, he's always been a douche.
I mean,
always
you
been a
sure he
douche.
hasn't spent time under the ice or under the water?
It's interesting. So
Maybe.
Lou,
hasn't
I
had, oxygen deprivation damage or something?
you may be on to a tad bit of something because I will say early on in his MMA or kickboxing career, and I know this because because of a different opportunity, I actually am doing some play-by-play commentary this weekend for kickboxing. So throughout the week, one of the things I've been doing is just
Congratulations.
thank you. I've just been watching kickboxing fights to try to pick up the cadence and make sure I know the stuff. And of course, because Andrew Tate is huge news, any fight company that owns the rights to fights that he's been in, they have been republishing his old fights. So you search kickboxing right now, or at least as of 2 days ago, all I did was search the word kickboxing, and an old Andrew Tate fight was the very first fight that popped up. So I actually have watched post-match interviews where he sounds like a normal dude, and it kind of reminds me of Antonio Brown pre the Vontaze Burfict hit.
Oh, shit.
When you watch his post-game interviews, he's humble. He's just sounds like a normal fucking guy. And then we all know who Antonio Brown is now. Now, I'm not, and I will not give this Andrew Tate man the benefit of saying that this is CTE and that it is brain damage, but I will only say that there was a point in time in his life where he at least knew how to fake it in front of a camera, because I've seen him do it. I've seen him pretend to be. Now, this was also before,
Whoa.
from one bald guy to another. This was back when he had hair on his head, so it tells you how long it was. It's been a good
Oh,
20
yeah.
years. This was an early kickboxing, probably before he had much success in kickboxing, which I think some of that contributes to this too. In order to be in combat sports, you kind of have to be a bit of an aggro douche.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, guys. Damn it, I said that really poorly. You have to be in an aggressive state of mind.
Oh, yeah.
And be so. And that could become. You have to allow yourself to potentially. But anyway,
So he's really drank his own fucking Kool-Aid is what you're getting at.
I'm thinking that that's potentially where it started. But to get
Yeah.
into and then that's the other thing. He started a hustlers university, which
Of just hustling people.
if that's not just Trump University watered down, I don't know what is. And it's just the same kind. And all he did, what he taught in his Hustlers University was here's how you get your girlfriends to become cam models and live in your house, or hey, create TikTok accounts that just clip me, Andrew Tate. Like if you go on TikTok or anything, you see all these Cobra Tate official, Cobra this, Cobra that. These are his students who pay him $4,000 to join his class. And then as part of the class, how he teaches them to make money is go clip me and put those clips out on TikTok, and like I won't copyright claim you. And like that's how he went from just random internet nobody to we all know who he is because he has found this way. He gets on other people's podcasts. He runs his mouth.
So he fucks the algorithm.
He sells the stupid shit. Yes, and then he fucks the algorithm by paying people on the back end. I'm gonna pay you to promote my shit. Pretend like you're not affiliated with me, and prep it. And that. So this is a lot of it was calculated to get like that part of it. You know, what happened here is this man's a narcissist. And a narcissist always thinks they're too smart.
Yep.
And he is on record admitting to multiple felonies.
Yeah.
He has said this.
Yes.
He's on record as saying the Romanian government is corrupt, but it's the kind of corruption that everyone can participate in, and that's why he is there.
Yes.
He's on the record as saying, I'm not a rapist, but I just want to be able to do what I want. He's on the record as saying that. That's why he's in Romania. And he also was very candid about the fact that the majority, as he claims, the majority of the women that worked for him in his cam girl house were his girlfriends that he manipulated into working for him.
Yeah, four were his brothers and four were his.
Yeah.
His brother, Tristan.
And that's before he kidnapped one. Because that's how we got here.
Yeah.
Is the one girl who doesn't want to be there who is an American.
Yep.
Who he brought to Romania, who luckily somehow she got involved with the embassy and then
she was able to get away.
Yeah, then they had to prove, the Romanian police had to prove that Andrew Tate was in Romania in order to arrest him. And how did they do that, Kelsey? How did they prove
that happen? This is what happens when you don't recycle your pizza boxes, Mr. Tate. That is, by the way, a tweet from Greta herself. Because after he released his Hugh Hefner wannabe video, he went ahead and also revealed pizza boxes on his table. And those were from a specific pizza place in Romania. So therefore they knew, hey, this dude is probably not going to take these pizza boxes from Romania to somewhere else, right? So he's here. And they went and arrested his ass.
I don't know. I go pretty far for my takeout.
Yeah, I cross borders all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I love the food in Tijuana and the bars, so I understand.
You know, you just get that craving, right?
Right.
I am the dude who drove 3 hours
also
to eat a frozen McPizza,
jumping beans.
but it was in the same state at least.
That's
Harold and
fair.
Kumar go where?
McPizza in.
So
For the brand, baby.
there's a larger cherry on top of this delicious sundae, though. According to Mr. Tate, he had 33 cars because they've been impounded for the investigation. That was reported very recently. It makes me so happy. This is the leader of incels right now. This is the leader of future men who will lose 50% of their jobs or more because 50% of their bosses will be a gender that they cannot deal with. They cannot function with. They don't understand, and honestly are probably scared of. So hopefully none of you guys are part of that cult, or I don't know, very, very, very misguided.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are an incel, let Uncle Kev help you out here for a second, because I did it pre-show, and it's been said by other men, but let me just help you out real quick. If you are an incel and you're looking for guidance, because it is clear to me by the rise of a man such as Andrew Tate that there is apparently a lot of young men who need a good male role model. And so I'm just going to tell you right now, if you want to have some success, how about this with the ladies, right? Wash your asshole, take frequent showers, groom yourself. If you have a beard, take care of it. If you don't have a nice haircut, or if you're balding like me, just shave your fucking head. Once a week with an electric razor, you will be fine. Learn a couple jokes. If you don't have a personality, find some things you're interested in, get some hobbies, and then when it comes time to actually interact with a woman, don't expect things from her and just treat her like a person. Make pretend, if you have to, that she's just one of the dudes, and just treat her normally and see how you do. I promise you, you are going to do a lot better than you think. It is not that hard. You will be rejected. You will deal with some heartbreak in this life. That is part of life. Fucking deal with it. Don't think that anyone owes you this shit, and don't listen to some idiot who's going to tell you that women are your property and that if your girlfriend has an OnlyFans, 80% of that goes to you because she's your property. Like, these people are idiots, and they are taking advantage of you because you are at a difficult and a very sensitive time in your life, and they're taking advantage of you, and they hope that you stay down so that they can continue to profit off of your sadness, essentially. So don't listen to these idiots. Take care of yourself. It's gonna be tough. You marathons, mountains, whatever. You can't do this shit in one day. That's my little bit of advice, Lou. Sorry. Do you have anything to add to
I
anyone
do,
who might be
actually.
listening to this creep?
So, negativity, right? That's negativity. And listening to their negativity is just going to compound your own negativity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The hobby thing. Do you realize how attractive it is to a woman when you talking about some shit you passionate about?
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah, try a little ambition. I'm gonna get you places.
you know, confidence,
Also, yes.
but not to the point where you a dick. You know, there's a difference in being confident and being a fucking asshole.
There's a difference between confidence and hubris, by the way, also.
Right. And then, you know, the rejection thing. For every one yes, you'll probably hear at least 20 no's.
That goes for you in life, by the way. If you want to
Legit.
take our word for it, look at or listen to the words of the great horror author Stephen King, who at one point made it a practice. He had a nail in his room where he hung all of his rejection letters for his manuscripts. Got to the point where he had to put up a second nail because he was constantly... Rejection is part of this process. I can't tell you how many times professionally I myself have run into some rejection. It's going to happen. It's how you adjust from it. It's what do you take from it. Hopefully, if you're blessed, you'll get some feedback to help you understand that rejection, but that won't always come either. And you have to understand that just like you, every single other person walking the face of this earth has their own story that they believe they are the main character of. It's not personal. It's not about you. Fucking move on. Learn from it. How can you make yourself a better version of yourself? Apply the 1% rule. If you improve by 1% every day, you do the math. Tell me where you'd be after 30 days. But just, it's not, you're not going to win tonight. You're not going to, the only get rich quick scheme is to convince a bunch of dummies that they can get rich quick by giving you money. That's the only get rich quick scheme that works.
Or go to heaven.
Yeah. Or give me your money to go to heaven. Give me your money to redeem your sins. The old antiquated version of the Catholic Church used to do that one, right? Like, oh, your grandma died. You want to buy
you want to pay
penance
for these penances?
Yeah, you want to pay for her sins.
I think it's also important to note that yes, there are shitty women out there. There are very shitty women out there. There are women that would be happy to take advantage of anybody, not just men.
Yes.
So I realize that you may have had some difficult times in the past, and I'm sorry that happened to you. But you can make it better. You really can. And you don't have to hurt people to do it, because that is what Andrew Tate has done. He has most likely physically, in my opinion, he doesn't seem like a guy that would hold back.
There's evidence of it.
And emotionally, maybe spiritually, definitely mentally scarred these women. Him and his brother Tristan, they're both really bad people. They're really harmful people. And if you really want to contribute to that nastiness, well, you know, karma got him. And he's never going to recover from this. Like, you got burned by a 19-year-old. A 19-year-old activist that everyone already respected. Like, I don't know why he would have picked a fight in the first place, but that's where he wound up in the end.
Yeah.
And he lost those 33 cars at this point. He may never get them back.
Right.
That's the kind of guy you're listening to when really you could be listening to these guys because they know what they're talking about. I totally agree with everything they've said. You really don't have to be a dick to get a woman or a guy. And if, you know, whatever you need, you don't have to be a dick to get in a relationship with someone else. And if you do, it's not going to work out. If it does last, it won't be happy. So you're kind of just fucking yourself and wasting your life. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. And maybe therapy, if you really have big issues with women, there's nothing wrong with going to therapy. Just find a good one. Maybe not an online one because those are getting weird.
Yes. Disclaimer. Be careful. Your online therapists are likely selling your information to Google. So just check, and not just
or
Google.
Somebody else.
Everybody who wants your information. So just be very careful. That stuff is precious. You don't want to start getting targeted ads about your mental health when it comes to medication. That's not something that really any company has any right to do, but that's a discussion for another day. But yes, I completely agree with that too. There is nothing wrong with it. And that's the other problem with guys like him. It's the toxic masculinity part of it, where stuff like that would be shit on, for lack of a better term, where they teach a certain brand of masculinity, and I hesitate. It pains me to even call it that because it's not even what it is.
No,
It's misogyny.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, it's misogyny because, like, to be masculine, it's
sexism.
It's very difficult, I think, to even define that, because I think just like almost everything in life, like what it means to be a man is a spectrum of, because yes, there are times when as a man, like, you would need to be a hard ass or a tough guy. But that doesn't mean, there are also times where the best thing you could do for you and your family is cry and allow them to see that, like, okay, it's okay for me to be vulnerable here. So it's an entire spectrum of, like, what makes a man in this moment. There's no, like, oh, but God, you gotta fucking, I just do sit-ups, and then if you talk to you, I just do this, and then you work for me, and I hustle, and it's like, no, that's bullshit. It's dumb.
Exactly.
You're not acknowledging the truth of what it means to even be a human. So, like, a complete waste of time. And now you see, that's the thing about every once in a while, some of these guys will get through the cracks, right, and they'll get away with it. One of them made it to be the president, and I am fairly certain. Well, I will say this: a lot more than one of them have made it to be president. Let me put it that way: a lot more than one of them. Probably more of them than aren't. More presidents, anyway. But yeah, it's gonna happen. But at the end of the day, the math suggests you reap what you sow, and if you're that kind of shitty, you're going to have an even shittier comeback when it comes time. And when Andrew Tate's experiencing that. Yeah, exactly. You live that life, great. You burn all those bridges. At one point, someone's going to come and burn the bridge to you.
Oh, yeah.
You think you'll be out there on your own.
Tossing Romanian salads in prison?
Yeah, not to mention, like, how do you think, despite the, let's just say, for the sake of the argument, because there is also a decent amount of proof that Andrew Tate was part of laundering for the Romanian mafia. So let's just say, for example, that they actually are a corrupt government. Isn't that, like, the worst? Like, isn't he in the worst situation? Because he's called out their corruption to the point that a dude like me has seen his clip multiple. So the whole... most of the world now knows what he has said.
Right.
You would think that would be an issue for them.
Right. I think even if they can't correct it, there's no way really for them to undo that. That's some toothpaste that can't go back in the tube. But I'll be damned if that guy if there aren't those corrupt people, probably are gonna want to A, extract as much from him as they can, and then B, say, yeah, still fucking sucks to be you though, because you spoiled this for all of us, so you're about to pay for it. So I could see them like milking him, kind of telling him like, oh yeah, you can bribe your way out of this, and then no, after they have all his money, be like, what money, what bribe, what are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah, get fucked.
That was one of the funniest episodes
Thanks
in
for the Lambos.
Simpsons. They printed like $1 billion bill, and Montgomery Burns, Mr. Burns steals it, and after twists and turns, him and Homer, along with Smithers, escape to Cuba, and they're like, "Oh, let me see it." And Casher just pockets it. What $1 billion?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What money? Where?
Yeah.
And that's probably what's going to happen in Romania. So yeah, there are so many lessons to be taken from this idiot. But the one that just what blows my mind about this is this man got himself arrested because a teenager told him he had small dick energy, and he proved her right. Yes.
Yeah.
And the best thing he could come up with, and he brought a production team into his house. Like he's using better cameras than I have, all this good stuff. Like, and also he could just say, I know you are, but what am I? Are you fucking kidding? And people follow this man blindly.
Right.
Yep, one of those 33 cars had to be actually a Ford F-350. That's not a work truck.
One of those 33
because
cars.
that's the tiniest fucking dick energy that I can think of. And yeah, I said it. I don't care if you got one and it's not a work truck. That's just yeah.
If your personality is your car, I know all I need to know about your penis.
He's mad. Dude, like there's ways that you can.
You'd think with all that money he could afford the surgery.
I mean, there's surgeries, or you could
I
just
don't
learn
know.
to please your woman in other ways, man.
I don't think he
like,
has the money also.
You think he's
Yeah.
secretly broke?
Yes. I think that the only
people like
thing
that drive me
that
crazy.
pays, I think the only profitable business venture this man has is his course.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easy money, because it's a front-loaded work effort, right? You make the videos, you
blown
get the
for everything
subscribers, and then
Right.
he's not spending it wisely.
No.
What is an idiot like that investing in? Crypto rug pulls. Right,
Crypto's still a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somehow.
So
And I'm sure there are a couple of, like I haven't been following Bitcoin, but there's so many of these influencer pushed coins have been absolute rug pulls, complete schemes.
Oh, they're starting to go to prison for that shit, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who is it, FCC that is in
Wait.
charge of that kind of shit?
Logan Paul might be in
Yeah.
prison soon. I
It's
can't
gonna.
wait.
Watching the karma come back makes me happy. When you choose to hurt someone in some way, like you choose to maliciously harm someone for your own benefit,
Right.
you're scum.
All over, and that's
Just
the
gonna
part.
say it.
Like, it's absolute greed. So many of these people. Think of Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street guy.
Oh yeah.
If he just didn't need to have mega yachts, so many of these guys could have skimmed from the top. And they could have lived like princes for eternity.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, they wanted to live like kings, and then they got greedy, they got sloppy, they got caught.
Right.
So many times this happens. And it's happening again with these guys, and it's happening again with Logan Paul right now. He has been freaking busted with his CryptoZoo scam. And now he is
God.
backtracking. He is doing everything he can to try to. I invite the guy who busted him. He's like, I invited him on Impulsive, and he won't come. Sorry, I don't know why Logan Paul turned into Jordan Peterson just then in my impression, but I don't care, Logan. Suck it. He calls himself Logs in text messages, and I it's hard for me to bust him as a guy who goes by Kev, but Logs, really? I don't know.
How do you
I don't know.
spell that?
L-O-G, logs, spelled like
Yeah,
logs.
that's the only thing I could picture, and I'm like,
Yep.
that's logs though.
Yeah.
That's a word.
I would never add
Actually,
an
it's
S
in
and
the
be
dictionary.
like, guys, I'm Kevs now. What's
I mean,
up, y'all?
I'm
I'm
pretty sure
Kevs.
it's log in the
Wouldn't that be
dictionary, and then
Keeps?
they give you the plural. but-
Keeves.
If he goes by Logs, wouldn't that be Keeps?
Yeah, Logs. Yeah, you got to change the whole thing.
You could have gone LOGUES Or U-E-Z, because it sounds like that could be like your style.
Yeah.
I don't know who Logan Paul
It's
is.
tough to bust him because I also have a 5-letter first name, so I can't sit here and be like, "What, scrub? You can't? You too lazy to write the line?" And I just prefer Kev because, like, my parent. No, I only ever heard the second syllable of my name when I was in trouble. So maybe everyone
Right.
grew up calling this dude Logs, in which case I guess sign your shit that way. But
But don't spell
also,
logs.
it's just an automated signature, dude. Just put Logan. It's not like you ever have
Does
to.
he put an umlaut on that
It's like, you
bitch?
have to fucking type it every time, you nerd, fucking weirdo. It's sad too because he was a good wrestler, but he's a bigger piece of shit. So good luck, Logan, with all of that. But we have another.
Real quick.
Yes.
The only wrestler I love is Thunder Lips.
Thunder Lips. Now, unfortunately, he's a piece of shit too, though.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
I heard.
Hulk Hogan is
yeah.
such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I heard he's joining
That's actually a lie. I never
Scientology.
really
Is that?
got into him.
There's no way he has money left for that. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but if he's gonna be so.
My
Bro, I
favorite
love
wrestler
that.
is
It's
Actually,
been a
Macho Man.
rumor.
I hope it's true because I love it. But so Hulk Hogan, I don't know if he's a Scientologist, but he is a racist.
Yeah, that was.
Oh,
fucking
is he
shitty.
really?
Yeah.
I was never a fan of
Oh,
him. He
shit.
kind
You
of
mind
like
if I,
scared me as a child. I thought
well,
he was scary looking.
He had that sex tape that came out with.
Someone's-
Yeah, he had sex with Bubba the Love Sponge's at the time wife.
Wow.
And as
Yeah.
part of that, and
That's
because
not
this is where it
cool.
got weird. Yeah, well, no, it was agreed upon. Like
Oh,
he's
oh.
Bubba the
Well,
Love
to each
Sponge is
your
a
own, to
is a
each your own.
cuckold.
You know.
By the definition of the term, get off my back. And so, as part of the video, and this is what Hogan sued them for. Terry Bollea is his real name. Oh shit, I just doxed him. But anyway,
Nah.
he sued them because they were recording him without his knowledge in a little like pre-sex interview. And he expressed how he would be mad if his daughter, Brooke Hogan, if you remember her from Hogan Knows Best and her alleged singing career, he expressed how disappointed he would be. Like, he didn't like when she dated black men. And then
Oh my god.
I believe he did hit a hard R in the clip.
Ugh.
There is a clip. Yeah.
Gross.
So yeah, you get to the point where he got fired from WWE and all that, and I think they have since tried to whitewash, pun intended, that from the history
Ugh.
books so that they can bring him back into the fold. But yes, no,
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan, world class piece of shit. Also a major liar. It is very funny the lies of Hulk Hogan. Here's a fun one. You want to hear a fun one?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Hulk Hogan once claimed that because of his constant trips to Japan, that one year he wrestled, wait for it, over 400 days in 1 year. Because,
I'm sorry.
when you go to Japan, it's a different day. Now, Hulk forgot to account for the fact that when you go back from Japan,
You lose
You
that
get
day.
that
you
back.
lose the time that you gained, or vice versa.
So the last 40 days then, or wait, the last
yeah, you got an extra
35
40 days.
he just stayed in Japan? Is that what he's trying to say?
Who knows what he's trying to say?
Bruh.
Cocaine is a
He-
hell of a drug.
He claimed that Elvis
Him
was
and
a
Trump are on the
fan
same
of
shit.
his, even though Elvis died before he was even Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
He's claimed so many crazy things. He's claimed
I've
there are.
been in relationships with people like this.
He's that dude who you get wise. You get a group of your buddies together. You find out, you realize. We had a buddy like this in college where he was just a one-upsman, and then it becomes a game. So then you start telling fake stories just to
Right.
see.
How
Is this
far
guy
it
really
go?
gonna fucking one up me on this too? And then he does it, and then at that point, then you just look around the room with your throw your shoulders up like, see, I would try to tell you about this guy. He's completely full of shit. He just somehow, some way has to be the center of attention, and it's crazy. Talk about small dick energy.
Oh my god.
Hulk Hogan, I think, has the smallest dick energy, and when you have that much fame and popularity, that many people are looking at you, and that many kids are, and you're that fucking insecure still. Problems, dude. Like problems that only therapy can fix. I'm gonna be honest with you. Talk to a
God.
therapist, man. It'll help.
What the
Isn't that crazy?
fuck?
Hulk
And Macho
Hogan,
Man we trust.
piece of shit. Yeah, Macho Man was right.
He was
Every-
the fucking
I like
shit.
Steve Austin.
WrestleMania 9,
Austin's the man too, man.
that
I like
black
his movie
eye,
Condemned.
Yeah.
that black eye Hulk Hogan had.
Yeah.
That's a shoot black eye. That's a wrestling term for y'all that don't know. Stuff that happens that's real, it's called a shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is a work.
Wait, what?
Randy Savage
Actually
punched
him.
Hulk Hogan in the eye
Yeah.
because he had lust in his eyes. No, there was an issue between.
Oh, they fucking hated each
Yeah,
other.
they hated each other, which is why people were livid when Hulk Hogan got to speak at Macho Man's Hall of Fame ceremony because like
What?
he fucking hated you. Why are you
Yeah.
getting to speak at his thing? He hated you.
And fuck Hulk Hogan.
Also, yes.
Macho Man is the only person I know that was bit by a king cobra and the king cobra died.
I always thought Hulk Hogan.
That's true.
Is Hulk
Oh,
Hogan
yeah.
who they modeled the Stretch Armstrong guy after?
Oh,
Because
I don't
I
think
always
so.
thought that was like his toy.
Stretch
Is that...
had more hair. It's possible
Stretch
though.
I think
was a
Stretch
blonde
Armstrong
guy.
was like a comic book.
Okay. I always just saw those dolls and I was like, ew, is that
Is
for
that a
Hulk
Hulk
Hogan?
No.
Hulk Hogan actually was modeled
never
off
played
of
with
hot
one.
dogs.
What?
He had that hot dog skin, like
He
that
did.
weird, like over tanned.
Yeah,
He was
he
always
looked
red.
orange. Yeah. Oh, him and Trump. So many similarities.
Mhm.
Wow. You guys could start a little group, like the Orange Liars.
They
Yeah,
have a
he
little
was
group. It's
better.
called the
Modeled
State of
after
Florida.
Because Stretch
Sorry.
Armstrong didn't have like the mustache and goatee.
Okay.
But they did do like little stretchies of different wrestlers.
Okay.
Oh, that's where my brain went. Okay.
Yep. Okay. They also had those.
The little like plushes.
I remember the cloth guys that
Yeah.
had like the voice box in them.
And
I
you were
had
supposed to,
had
like,
a
wrestle
couple of
with
those.
them
Yeah,
and
you're
shit.
supposed to be able to wrestle with them. Yeah, if you were like 4 years old, they were really small. It was not a my size Barbie. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, there's one other person we know that fucked up that I don't know that we'll spend as much time on him because I do want to talk about the movie. We want to talk about some fun things, right? But
yeah.
we should at least take a moment. Well, we can talk about the good parts first because this is in regards to Damar Hamlin,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
With his continuing improvement.
Hope his
yes,
family's doing
After the,
well, by the way.
The incident on January 2nd, 2023.
which was no one's fault, by the way.
Yeah.
Some people have tried to
It was just a
implant
total
that.
Complete
Yeah.
accident. It was actually, if they think it is what they might think it is, it sounds like it's an extremely rare occurrence on top of it. So there's
Yeah.
no one
Yeah.
that could be blamed.
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. And certain people have tried to blame other parties, and that's not cool. And before
No.
we
Happens
talk,
in Little League when kids get hit in the chest with a ball too hard.
dude, it happened. It's like I
Yeah.
remember specifically in health class in middle school. I believe that was. I don't remember exactly when, but I remember being like, I have an irrational fear about like I won't beat my own chest like a caveman because I have an
I never
irrational
understood
because
Mm-hmm.
there is like it's super rare, but it is possible to hit your chest hard enough to confuse your heart and stop your heart.
Oh, yeah.
from
That's
beating.
why bulletproof vests will have the breastplate. So
Oh.
that way,
To keep
like
from
if
being able to hit
it
the
gets
sternum.
shot, it dissipates that strike force.
And doesn't hit you on one
Did you
Yeah.
know
spot.
it's possible to stop someone's heart if you rub the sternum too much?
Mhm.
No, I did not know
Yeah,
that.
that's
good to
something I
know,
learned when I
too.
was in EMT
Yeesh.
school. It's
Bruce Lee could
not a
punch it.
current EMT, by the way. No props need to be given, by the way. But that's you. I mean, the sternum can really affect your
Yeah,
heart
yeah.
if it's hit the wrong way. So
And so and it was a freak accident,
Oh, it
and
was.
and what should be pointed out is Damar's toy drive. I believe it was called the Chasing M's Foundation. Please look for it if you're interested in supporting him. Went from approximately, I think it was just under $3,000 were raised before the game had started, and now since this event, it is now at over $5 million raised. It's become
it's
a
incredible.
real who's who of a charity event. Like every big name you can think of has donated at this point. So it's becoming a pretty cool thing. Bills fans should be noted. They're always very good at this. I don't know, Lou, you might remember this as a Bengals fan. There was a time, I can't even remember what it was, but a few years ago, the Andy Dalton-led Bengals beat a team that then got the Bills into the playoffs, and Bills Mafia went and donated like $2 million to Andy Dalton's to his foundation
Oh, yeah.
just because like, oh hey, we went to the playoff, like, so they, of all the fan bases, there are certain
Mhm.
fan bases like Philly that catch a lot of shit, well deserved,
Oh,
New
yeah.
York, Buffalo, despite the fact that they powerbomb each other through tables, like they know a good cause when they see it, and they put their fucking money up. And,
Oh yeah.
and it hasn't just been Buffalo fans, but it should be pointed out that they are always good at this. But yeah, so I think we should. Yeah,
And there's also there is a very real, like, friendly rivalry between the two teams. Because they're not within
True.
the same, I think they're both AFC, but they're not, like, in the same bracket
no,
of
and
AFC.
yeah,
So, like, they don't necessarily have to deal with each other as consequences, where, like, you have the Bengals and Steelers, or the Browns and the fucking Ravens.
right.
You
Yeah,
don't
it's-
have that, like, direct animosity between them. So, yeah, just 24 years old, man. And it was so weird. I mean, I know I'm, beating the armchair over the head, but it was so weird watching him get up and just collapse.
Yeah, it was very scary. But which it tracks with that type of issue, right? That could happen. It's almost in a sense kind of fortunate that he collapsed very quickly and not. It wasn't. I don't know. It just is kind of. It happened and then he collapsed, so everyone was kind of very certain of what happened because I've heard some stories about other heart issues. I think it was a lawyer I was watching something about where he said there was someone that he represented that had some kind of trauma and it didn't happen right away and a few minutes later or so and then it's like, well, then it becomes harder to maybe determine what caused it.
Right.
Whereas in this case you saw it, then and it's like, okay, well, we know where to start because it was something so unprecedented. People didn't really know what had happened. So, it just, wow, the whole thing is very scary. And I think that the right decisions were made. We know that both coaches were immediately not wanting to be. All you had to do was look at the sidelines. There was a minute where Joe Buck was reporting that they were starting to warm up, and Joe Burrow was throwing passes.
Yeah.
You could see in his face
He didn't want to play.
he didn't want to be there. And then they cut to Josh Allen, the Bills, one of Hamlin's teammates, and he wasn't crying, but he had been.
Right.
There were players that were crying, though.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing, in my opinion, to see was all those players were just so upset. That's their coworker. That's their friend.
Yeah, imagine your coworker dying in the warehouse floor. And the boss says, all right, you take like 30 minutes and then get back at it.
Make sure you step over Adam.
Yeah, fuck no, man. I'm not doing it. I don't care.
I'm gonna start calling our resumes.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, listen, you can just. I'll just sit here until you fire me because I'm not fucking doing this work. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
and file for the unemployment. No, and it really just shows how shitty the NFL is.
Oh yeah, they have some serious fucking problems. That is for sure.
Yeah, I often wonder moments like this, or when this question comes back to me: how much longer is the NFL going to be a sport? Because we already have my peers in the sports journalism world, a lot of whom are former football players, who have said verbatim, knowing what I know now, I'm still glad that I played football, but I will never let my son play.
Yeah.
These are the kind of people who played football, some of whom had Division I talent, ran into an injury, and that's the reason they're writing about and talking about the sport instead of playing it. And those people are even saying, I will not allow my son to play this sport. I will do anything and everything to support him in any other venture he should want to do, but football is out for me. And how many, I feel like that's only going to continue to grow. And we see things like the United States finally getting decent at soccer.
I was about to say, you're seeing the real trend of where maybe try basketball. Maybe try soccer.
Baseball players are getting 11-year contracts now. If I'm a dad, I'm seriously talk to my kid about baseball.
Right?
You sit down for 2 out of the 4 hours. You're sitting in the dugout.
Right.
Spitting sunflower seeds. Go play that sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go getting 3 car accidents every Saturday. And this is a different conversation, but so much of like the helmets
Mm-hmm.
and the pads are the issue here.
Yeah.
Go look at rugby. Go watch the stats at rugby. That's a sport just as much contact where they've
If not
actually
more.
taken the time.
I thought it was rougher.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they've taken it because they don't have that padding, because you can't use your forehead as a missile, because it's going to split your fucking forehead open if you do that, because you don't like defenses. And this goes back as early as high school. You are taught bad things for your health, but good things for the football team. Put your helmet on the ball. You know, they're teaching these kids to lead with their head.
Mm-hmm.
You're taught in rugby how to properly bring a guy down without hurting you or him, because nobody's padded, nobody's protected. So to an extent, all this extra padding, all this extra stuff we've done with football has made it more vicious, more violent.
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain point, like I wonder if my hypothetical grandchildren will have a tackle football league to watch, because I just feel like as a society we're getting away from it. It's weird because we've always known it to be, but the Greeks and Romans had gladiators fighting every
Exactly.
Sunday
Right.
and murdering each other. That's not still here. So at what
And their
point?
owners also didn't care about their health or safety. They also just gave them what they wanted so they would keep fighting.
Yep. And so at what point do we? And it's so it's all on us.
Well,
It's dependent on us not watching anymore. But a few more of these. You
I-
know,
well,
when someone
this
dies
season-
on the field, what's
This season, not only did we have this happen this season, but the incident with Tua
Yep.
and the 5 different concussions he had between 2 or 3 different weeks.
Yes, he had multiple concussions, and then it was a Sunday game and then a Thursday game.
Yeah.
And we had
Is he still alive?
he's
Yeah.
still alive somehow.
He's still fucking
He's
playing.
playing, even though he had brain scientists before he played the second game say,
Yeah.
"Please don't do this. Like for your own health, don't do this." And
Yeah.
then he went out. His concussion
Gets
was
hit.
so bad. He
was throwing fucking gain signs, bro.
yeah, his fingers.
Oh my
clamped
gosh,
up.
that guy.
That
Yeah.
guy.
I'm
yeah.
terrible with names. Forgive
No,
me.
that's fair. It's like Tua Tagovailoa or something like that.
Oh my
Tagovailoa.
gosh. I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
that,
He-
and that was
'cause,
so disturbing.
And one of the few coincidences, he was playing against the Bengals. He gets hit, ends up on his back, and that's because remember I said before. I mean, it was like he was throwing up fucking gain signs because the way his fucking
His
hands
fingers were
contracting.
moving. Yeah.
It was fucking disturbing.
I wonder if he feels like he has to continue
He probably
because
does.
he has a contract.
Well, not even just that, but like,
Can someone just buy him out of that contract, please, for his own? If someone cares
well, and
about
think about
him
it like this.
that works for the NFL,
Think about it like this. Maybe he did go to college, but what did he really know from that?
so then you got to learn
Some
to
of these
invest.
kids-
You got to learn to get into commercials.
Some of these kids go to college and they get passed on the fast track where they're not fucking learning a thing.
No, I understand that. I really
Yeah.
do.
So like he doesn't.
And that's shitty.
Football's his life. That's the only thing he
So
knows.
that's another thing
and
that
it's-
needs to change then.
Yeah.
You can't give football players one thing to leave with like
No.
that and football players have a shelf life.
Oh yeah.
Every athlete has a shelf life. I mean, unless
Not
you're
everybody has a
who is that? Peyton,
Iron
Peyton
fucking curtain
Manning?
like Brady.
Yeah, Brady, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you can pay money to get cloned a bunch like Tom Brady. Every sport has a shelf life. I mean, some artists have shelf lives.
Hell, Joe Burrow got sacked more times in one season than Tom Brady's had his entire fucking career.
Oh,
it's pretty nuts.
I understand.
He
Okay.
had the offensive line that kept him from getting on his ass. So, no, and then we have clowns like Skip fucking Bayless taking shots.
Yeah, tell me about this douchebag.
So, I'll allow our
The resident
us the
sports guy, huh?
rundown.
Yeah, so Skip.
give us the bites.
Sk-
sizes.
yes. So Skip basically his tweet said that the NFL is considering postponing this game, but how? It has major playoff implications, all of which seem irrelevant now. So this, of course, was not taken well by anyone who played the sport, including Skip's co-host, Shannon Sharpe, the Hall of Famer, who, it should be noted, Skip had already disrespected earlier, about a month ago, on some Tom Brady stuff. And so Shannon skipped work for a day, and when he came back, they, being the channel, gave him a chance to do the opening monologue. And as he was talking about, like, how disrespectful it was, Skip interrupts him to say, like, I stand by the tweet, I stand by what I said, and no one here at the company had any issue with it, which Shannon, of course, took issue with that, calling out that his bosses did have issue with it. And yeah, so it's just, I don't know, there's no place for it. I really hope that this guy gets what's coming to him, and we see the end of his broadcasting career here soon. But
No
yeah,
joke.
way to show your
And Shannon
capitalist
Sharpe,
roots.
of all people, sorry.
No, go for it.
Shannon Sharpe, of all people, to piss off. He's granted, I've never been in the same room with the guy, but he's always seemed like that Michael Strahan, just a good fucking guy.
yeah, oh yeah, good.
A good, solid, hardworking dude who was fucking great at football. Because wasn't he? He was wide receiver under. God, can't think of his name.
He played for Denver with
Elway.
John
He was
Elway,
with John Elway.
and then he also played. Yeah, he was tight end. He played for the Baltimore Ravens, so
Yeah, and
multiple Super Bowl winner,
Yeah.
Hall of Famer, and known around the league. There's a reason his nickname is Unc.
Yeah.
Like, as in
Yeah.
uncle. Like, he has such a good relationship with so many of the players. And to be honest, I am of the opinion that the only reason Skip Bayless's television career has lasted this long is because of how much people love Shannon Sharpe.
Yeah.
They love to hate Skip Bayless, but they genuinely love Shannon Sharpe, and so they'll deal with Skip's bullshit because they want to hear what Shannon has to say, and they get mad at Skip. And we all know from Twitter culture, social media culture, being mad equals more time on the app.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what Skip's there for. That's how he brings money. But I just say, like, if you're really talented, if you have good arguments to make, you don't need to be the hot take guy.
Right.
Because your
look at Shannon
content will
Sharpe.
just stand up on its own. Exactly. He's
He
not a
knows-
hot take guy.
Both sides of the ball perfectly well.
He knows what he's talking about, and people want to listen. And because he's an athlete, he can speak about
Mhm.
basketball even though he didn't play it.
Right.
Whereas
and-
Skip Bayless just knows how to write headlines for newspapers.
He's just some fucking washed up fucking Joe fucking Blow six pack.
And Skip Bayless has virtually no talent, and so the perfect pivot from this will be to talk about a movie made by someone who has so much goddamn talent I can't always see it sometimes. And that would be, oh wait, I think I did our movies backwards, but
Yeah.
we'll just still use the same
Ethan
transition.
Hawke has a lot of fucking talent.
And
Look
we'll
at the range of movies that he has portrayed characters in.
Yes.
Absolutely.
From
You've got
Gattaca.
Gattaca. And then more recently you have Moon Knight. He played a cult leader. Not a misogynistic cult leader
No.
too, and still a cult leader.
Yes, not a great cult. No, I don't know if there are any good
No.
ones, but yeah, Ethan Hawke was great
No.
in this.
And Jim Jones knew how to make a
Made
mean
him
Kool-Aid.
wicked. Oh god. Yeah. So this movie, it's kind of a classic Stephen King young kid story, right? But it had a supernatural element to it. I don't know. I like this movie. I've said a lot of words about it, so I'm going to pause and hand it off to you guys because you just recently watched this one, right?
Oh
So-
yeah, absolutely. And this is
Yeah.
one of my favorite kinds of movies. If you've never seen Ethan Hawke in a movie, by the way, don't start with this one. You're going to have a problem like I had with Kevin Bacon forever. Watched River Wild first, could not get over it until the recent Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
That's real.
Right.
when he got
That's-
kidnapped.
That's real.
That made things better. But no, start with Gattaca and then work your way up. So I love this kind of story personally. I am all for shit like this. This movie, though, I will say I was a bit disappointed, but only because the trailers revealed way too much, and I felt like I knew what was going to happen almost every step of the way.
Yeah.
And it was a bummer. It wasn't completely true. There were things that I was like, oh, okay, well, look at you go. Like,
Yeah.
but then there was shit where I was like, oh, I already know what's going to happen to this character because I remember seeing them in the basement as a ghost.
Yeah.
And
Or
that was a huge
before
bummer.
one of them gets picked up, or
Yep.
before the main
I
character
was-
gets picked up.
Yep. It was kind of a bummer how they laid out the trailer. I wish they had done that better because I think I could have enjoyed the movie a little bit more.
Sure.
Which is kind of making me feel like I just shouldn't watch trailers, but I don't
And
know.
that is true. Yes. Well, see, that's my critique from this whole thing, and sadly, I just felt this way for years. It's because if you think about this, started Terminator 2 did it. Okay, Terminator 2 ruined the big twist in the trailer. So if you watch the trailer, you knew that Arnold was a good guy this time, but then the movie plays it as if it's some massive reveal.
Like it's a surprise.
Stop doing that.
Right.
Yeah, we don't like that.
If you want to surprise me, just surprise me. I don't know. I'm weird with trailers because I personally, like, I always tip my cap. I think when you find a way to either use alternate takes, so like use a different angle of something, but the footage itself should never be super paramount to the story. You should never be showing a major reveal. Like, save that for the like it's just crazy. And again, as a guy, I grew up loving wrestling. I've hosted live events and been part of that business on the business. Like, so like I know what it takes to sell tickets to a thing, and it just drives me nuts when like, you're trying to get me to pay you money to go see this. Why would you tell me the story in 2 minutes?
Right.
I'll save my $17. Like, it's not that hard to get me to go see it without telling me all of the cool parts.
We just need teaser trailers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
that's all we need is teaser trailers and then maybe a potential small synopsis like you would find on, not IMDb, but like
Yeah.
Netflix
Yeah.
or Hulu or something like
Yeah.
that. Although Hulu sometimes gives too much away. Just
And
saying.
use that's the other part. Like, you think you mentioned a good thing there. Like, it's not just trailers now. You look at, let's use Cloverfield for an example. They use multiple fake websites now. They used MySpace back when MySpace was a thing, but like, companies do these ARG things now. You can have a Twitter account. Like, you don't need, like, I can learn cool little lore bits, or there are ways to get me and the general public excited for your movie. We're going to talk about one here later on. That doesn't involve me hand feeding you the coolest plot twist or the best fight scene or this new armor that Iron Man's gonna have. Like, save that shit. Like, make me want to go give you my money, because otherwise, why?
Right.
I'll just wait for it to come out and stream because you've already shown me.
Exactly.
Popcorn again.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
Because I already seen it. You know, you can only watch Black Widow throw a fucking shield to Cap so many fucking times.
Yeah, because it's not that. You brought up a great point with the popcorn. It might sound silly, but it's not just the $17 ticket. It's the $35 in snacks too. Like, can you not fucking spoil this for me? It's a date night now to go watch one movie. Like, I gotta,
Oh yeah, it's a
gotta
rare
budget
occurrence
for
at
it.
this point. Like for us, I feel like if we don't go on a Tuesday, we're not
Yeah.
gonna go, and that's only because Tuesday's kind of discount.
Yeah, it's on
So-
a discount night. We're not going, but this was, and I caught this movie on a discount night, but it was where this one to me personally didn't have as much rewatchability as the next movie we'll talk about. I still really liked it. I mean,
It was good.
I thought it was set up very well. They moved through it pretty quickly. That was something I rewatched today, and I was like, well, yeah, they hit this very quick. Like, they introduce you to the kid, and then you learn a little bit about the kid, and the kid gets kidnapped, and then you know, they do that for the first couple, and then they get to Finn.
Spoilers.
If you didn't,
Oh, you didn't know? I'm sorry. I assumed. My bad.
Especially with that, I mean, if you didn't know that the Black Phone involved a kid getting kidnapped, then you definitely didn't watch the preview.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
It also
good for
has
you.
a
You're
black
smart.
phone in it.
Yeah, there's also Ethan Hawke is in it. He wears a
A
mask.
black phone, you say? Now his mask was
Wouldn't it
pretty
be funny?
cool
No, it was
That
green.
was a
because
cool
there
production
were very
bit.
interchangeable parts
So
to it,
many.
and that That's something that we really enjoyed.
I think it was
watching.
multiple masks. I don't.
No,
think
it was.
was.
That's a fun little.
Because there was like
There were.
like mouths you could take off of it.
Yeah.
and
No,
put
I
on.
don't think it was like that. I really think he had multiple masks.
So there's something like
'cause it looks solid.
27 iterations. There is a fun tidbit about, if you want. I hope I'm not pitching the wrong channel, but I think maybe it was Dead Meat. But you can watch there is some cool behind the scenes stuff about Black Phone, and yeah, the masks. I can't remember if there were interchangeable, but like they made multiple variations for it. But in the story, like, so thinking about it practically,
the short story.
I guess as far as like the character is using it, it's one mask with multiple interchanging pieces.
I'm sorry.
But they might also, I think in practicality, I think what they did it the way that Kelsey was saying is that they actually made every variation.
Yeah, it didn't come
okay.
across to me personally that it was.
But it
Yeah.
looked like you could take off the mouth.
Yes,
and
because
stuff.
what
I
its
didn't-
intention was for him to be able to reflect his mood.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, when Finney lies to him and he throws him the newspaper, he's already got the frowny face. And
Yeah.
so, like, and that's where there's a lot of little subtlety
Mhm.
to
I found
it.
that interesting too. Did you notice the first mask? He had no mouth at
Yeah.
all. There was no mouth.
And he never
And
went back to that
it's-
one.
And you know what people do when they lie or they don't want to tell something? They cover their mouth, their mouths with their hands or something like
Yeah,
that.
very
Yep.
interesting.
I mean, I imagine if we had the evolution to do so, we would just make our mouths disappear. Although you're gonna look sus.
People do
but-
that. That's another thing. They suck their lips in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They try to do
That's
that.
true, and
Yep.
that is subconscious as well.
Yep.
There's no one that's really doing that when they don't want to say
Micro-expressions.
something.
Yep.
That's doing it on purpose, unless you're acting, of course.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, and so I found that pretty interesting. I really liked this movie, honestly, but I liked Ghost Ship. I don't know if you remember that
I
one.
do remember that.
I loved Ghost Ship. Like as a kid, I watched that movie over and over and over again. If that tells you guys anything, so I thought this was excellent, and I'm a huge fan of Stephen King. I love that Joe Hill has pulled in some of that work. It's my understanding that Joe Hill does a wide variety of. It doesn't seem like
Media.
he always follows in his father's footsteps when it comes to his writing. Am I wrong?
Oh yeah, no, I mean
'cause
that's
Horn
why.
seems like it's probably a little different than the Stephen King novel.
Yeah, I believe so, and even down to his name. I mean, the
Yeah.
whole reason he writes under Joe Hill
Right,
was
exactly.
the same reason that Stephen King wrote under Richard Bachman, was
Mhm.
just to be like,
I loved that.
can I do this? I want to do it
And
not
still
just
sell.
because of my name. You
Mhm.
know,
Be
can
sure
I-
to check out Joe Hill Comics too, man. He writes
Oh.
horror stuff for DC.
Very cool. Yeah.
Check your local comic shop. for that.
Absolutely, we'll check that out. We can add that. We're going to be adding some comic coverage to this network here soon, so we can put that on the list. But yeah, I liked the film. Again, I purchased it as a Christmas gift for a family member, so who's a film buff who likes horror movies. So I do think it's something that I liked it enough to support the art, because to me there's no better way. That's my biggest stamp of approval for a movie, is if I took the time to buy it. And especially if I took, I think it's equally, if you take the time to buy it for yourself or to buy it for someone else, I think you can't really
No doubt.
If you support them, in some
support a
way.
movie
Right.
in any better of a way, unless they're an independent creator, in which case maybe they have a GoFundMe or some shit.
Mhm.
But Ethan Hawke doesn't need my money that badly, nor does Joe Hill. I liked it. Yeah, I would suggest it. I think if you've listened to it, we've done a good job of not really spoiling a lot of the movie. So
that's fair.
if you haven't seen it, I
But
do
the
It's
trailer
suggest
will,
definitely
so
worth
don't watch the
watching it.
trailer.
I really like how they did the paranormal aspects of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the girl's dreams.
Which again, that part did feel like Dad, right? Like that part
Yeah.
felt
Yeah,
like The
but-
Shining. But again, it's like it's
I,
hard.
Yes.
I actually even made that joke.
He made that
I was like,
reference.
oh, she's got the shinning.
Which is crazy, because I feel like Stephen King just gave a name to something that so many cultures and so many communities believe in, that it's almost also not right for me to be like, oh, that's Dad's thing, isn't it? Because no, I think The Shining doesn't necessarily belong to Stephen King.
No. I
That's just
And
what
that's-
he called it, right?
Yeah.
I
In-
mean-
in The Simpsons, it was called the Shinnin' because they didn't want the
Oh,
copyright
yeah.
thing. in
But
The
then
Simpsons
again,
Treehouse
you've
of
also-
Horror.
You just have people that have visions.
They're into
Yeah.
it.
Visions have been a thing forever. I mean,
Native
deja vu.
Americans.
Some people call it that. But
Philip K. Dick was writing about precogs and
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
having the ability to, to have vision,
Premonitions.
see the future.
Right. I've had
Telepathy has
dreams
been a
that have
thing.
come true.
Yeah. You
same,
know,
yeah.
and people being able to talk. I mean, shit, Jim Carrey to this day believes he can communicate telepathically. And
Yeah.
I've had
That's why I had his nipple pierced.
yeah, that's why he said he talked to dolphins out by the ocean. So
Jim Carrey's an interesting
Oh,
guy.
you said Jim Carrey. I thought you meant Drew Carey.
also yes, Drew Carey is also telepathic.
And apparently has his nipple pierced.
Yes.
The better to telecommunicate with you.
Yes, it's you need the frequency
It
to
really leans into
yeah,
it.
really it works like a satellite.
I read it in his
Telepathically
book, Dirty
communicate.
Jokes and Beer.
But it would not work though. It would not be able to transmit any sort of frequency if Jean Jacket were around. Because,
Well, yeah, jean jackets dilute the frequency process.
Oh, I meant the Jean Jacket. You know, the high above
Oh, yes.
soaring.
Oh, the jean jacket.
The alpha predator that has the
Started
ability
out
to
as a
turn
horse.
off all kinds of cell phones and all kinds of weird. There are so many
shit.
things.
I can't wait to
about-
talk about
The
this.
Sky Manta Ray
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
with no
just
tail.
and that's what yeah.
Nope.
Turns
Nope.
into a jellyfish.
Was a movie. Oh man, I've gone on
So-
such a journey with this movie.
Oh my god. So okay, so I have
I need a
an
beer for
idea
this.
about like
You start,
how it
I get a beer.
fries. Okay, how it flies. I said fries.
That's okay.
I have a
fries.
theory how it flies, and I feel that what it does is it manipulates the geomagnetics of the Earth, and it uses that geomagnetic field to fly. See what I'm saying? Almost like it's a
Spoilers.
Yeah.
I mean, if it has maybe an intense amount of lead in its blood, I could see something. Or not lead, I'm sorry. Iron. I apologize.
Mhm.
I mean, it could have lead in its blood.
Or
We don't know.
gland.
Maybe it likes that.
That emits on that frequency.
Okay, you took it further than
Geomagnetism
than
is
my
a
brain
frequency.
took it.
So maybe it operates in a frequency that is able to envelop in that source, and that's how it's able to manipulate.
Use a lot of
geomagnetics
words I
and-
don't understand.
I don't
because I don't
get
understand them.
physics,
I'm gonna take them as
unfortunately. I wish you
disrespect.
did.
That's why it causes the electronic failures,
Okay.
but it doesn't go fully where like paranormal things will kill them. I also think it's interesting because what if that creature isn't alien? What if it was native to our planet?
I believe that to be the case. I think that's fun. That's fun to talk about because yes,
I was thinking experiment,
oh
government
really?
experiment
I'm
Maybe.
thinking.
that escaped.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking like prehistoric, like
Maybe
I went kaiju with it honestly, but which
It kind of becomes one at
right?
the end.
But were there man-made ones? I'm not super well.
We never found
versed
its origin in the
in
movie.
Godzilla lore either to think of like historically, because even because I'm trying to think of like other because
Oh, that's
when
fair.
I think of Nope, I'm putting it in a class with like Godzilla, Mothra,
That's
even
fair.
Cloverfield to be more
Yeah.
recent. And now Cloverfield was very in depth with its lore, but even that is expected to have been. Like, yes, it was an alien, but it's an ancient alien that arrived, like, that
Millennia
predates
ago.
humanity and has been just sitting in the bottom of the ocean. So
Mm.
I could see, like, even if the Nope creature, even if what they called Jean Jacket was an alien, I could almost see it as being one that has been around for hundreds of years, you know, that's basically, it's basically been domestic, right? Like, it's just been... Like, just think of
Maybe.
it as like a giant sky shark, you know, just kind of a weird, like, man,
It swims through air like fish swim in water.
mm-hmm.
And maybe there could be a density thing where its density is lighter than air. There's a lot of different things that like could cause it to be able to fly like that. I think it would be really interesting to see like an origin of it.
Well, yes and no. Well, it depends on how they do it.
That's
Which-
yeah. True.
Sadly enough, you could say that about every movie, but
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know, I don't know about you guys, but I find that sometimes the worst thing that has happened to some of my favorite horror series is they try to explain too much. And as long as it doesn't turn into like a weird witch cult like Michael Myers
that's how you
did.
start a cult.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. You can't give too many details. You got to
Oh,
think
God.
of this as like someone writing a sci-fi instead of taking it as being real life. Because dude, no one knows that this could be anything like real life. So you got to calm
Right.
down and relax. We all love a conspiracy theory. Just stick to the ones that we already have. Okay. Moon landing, was it real? Was it fake?
I can't wait to talk about that one again someday. But.
Yeah. But don't take it too far.
Yeah, I don't know. So the first time I watched this movie, I don't know what you guys felt, but I hated this movie the first time I watched it
Really?
which was interesting, and I almost felt misled by the trailers, which is funny given a previous critique, because in hindsight, they did a great job with the trailer.
They did.
But I came into the movie expecting something else, and I also went on a $5 Tuesday, so I had the money that I saved in ticket fare, I of course spent in alcohol. So
Mm-hmm.
I had a little bit of a buzz going sitting in that movie the first time, and I just felt like very confused and misled. The whole Gordy thing didn't make sense to me. So like the first time I watched it, it didn't make sense, and then I watched it a second time. Yeah, with the foreshadowing and starting to understand the overall theme of the movie about like, okay, this is a predator, and just like Gordy the chimp, you have to treat it a certain way. If you treat it with the right amount of respect, you might be able to survive it. I don't know.
Look at it.
There are still a ton of plot holes in my opinion, but I have a new appreciation. The more I watch this movie, the more I appreciate it. There are certain little things that I just won't ever get over that I think are just extra, like the beast's weird square tongue thing that it does.
Oh, yeah,
at the
that was
end
super
that
weird.
Just makes no fucking sense at
How
all.
it turned into like a fucking Final Fantasy summon creature at the end.
Yeah,
that was
it did
kind
a
of
whole
fucking
like
weird.
Frieza thing. It like did a couple multiple.
It's not even my final form.
It's like, I know I've been this ultimate stealth creature for, at the very least, the last 6 months, but for what it sounds like, all of fucking eternity. But hey, you pissed me off, so I'm just going to ignore all of my instincts that allowed me to be this centennial apex predator, and I'm just going to say, here's my fancy little weird kaiju form for the final battle. Like, it doesn't make sense. Just like the TMZ guy, his behavior doesn't make sense. Like, I just don't think that person exists, you know? Like, I've seen Nightcrawler. Yeah, I know that there are some shitty ambulance chasers around, but he was such a weird character. And that was the thing. Like, some of the characters were just super over. Like, Emerald was over the top annoying to me.
Oh yeah, but I felt she was supposed to be
phenomenal actress. Like
Keke Palmer's.
She did the job,
brilliant,
110%. But I'm just like,
in Ambulance, by the way, or not Ambulance? That one movie with Gerard Butler. Anyways, we'll look that up. I'm sorry, I interrupted. Keep going.
That's okay. I just to reiterate what Lou was saying, like she did a great job. This isn't like Keke Palmer sucks. It was just like.
No, she was a lot. Her character was a lot.
It's a lot, and it's like I'm supposed to root for this character, right? Like I don't know. It made it difficult at times, but then she it had a nice arc. You're rooting for them at the end. They did enough.
Oh yeah.
Angel, I thought, was a great character. The tech guy.
Yeah.
Another character that really pissed me off was the gravelly voice cameraman who just decided to start singing. One-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater.
That was weird, yeah. And then he just ran off to his death.
Yeah, he's so weird and abstract, right? He's
extremely.
He decides like, I'm gonna sing this old song, which again, that was one of those. There are certain moments in this film where I think that Jordan Peele needs a friend that is willing to be like, hey, too much, like I think sometimes you can be too smart, like you can be too much of a creative genius and be like, oh, this is so fancy, so over the top. It gets to a point
you
where
don't want to M. Night Shyamalan it.
Yeah, I felt like some of those scenes he was farting into a glass and sniffing it, and where he's like, oh, we're gonna just have this guy has a great voice. The actor did have a great voice.
Oh yeah,
Him singing Purple People Eater
That was
did
so
nothing
off-putting.
but like it was so cringy, and it was the worst time in the movie to do it. Like we are crescendoing into the final act of our movie,
Right.
and you have this guy singing a creepy, weird and then you have him with no explanation. It's one of those like somehow Palpatine returned things where it's like, oh, we got the shot right, we won. Oh, crazy old dude has decided today's a good day to die for no reason. It's
Right.
not Bird Box. Last I checked, it wasn't Bird Box. But if it was Bird Box, it would have made sense because he made eye contact and I need to kill myself now or whatever. Sorry, spoilers for Bird Box.
What?
But what
It's a
happened?
good movie.
But yeah, it made so there are those things that I can't not acknowledge those things. So I have some where I've went from this movie sucked to I really like this movie. I cannot give it. Some people have like bent the knee to this movie and been like,
yeah.
this is the apex of creativity. Like this is the greatest film. Jordan Peele is so deep. And it's like, dude, this thing is riddled with plot holes. Like it's kind of like people gave Kubrick this sort of like, oh, he's perfect. He never made a mistake. Bull fucking shit, dude. Like
Right.
tons of mistakes in there. So anyway, sorry, I'll get off my soapbox. I did like the movie.
No,
Really liked the
I really
movie.
liked the movie too. Daniel Kaluuya,
Yeah.
fucking phenomenal.
Such a good actor, yeah.
And the sister, where you have the opening of where they're on set.
Mhm.
She's late, and you could tell everything she was doing was just rubbing her brother the wrong way.
Mhm.
Like we're here to do Haywood business,
Yeah.
not your song and dance routine and pimping yourself out, trying to fucking land a role in some bullshit movie.
That scene was so cringy.
It was so cringy. When
I fast forwarded it.
It
The
was
second time when I watched it
That's
today, I
fair.
skipped. I got right to the point where she's like, "Oh, also," and then I just hit the 10
You
second
just
thing
hit it.
twice because it was like it was like Scott's Tots scene for me. I just couldn't do it. It's too much cringe.
Oh
It is. It's
gosh,
like,
Scott's
oh.
tots.
because she just goes into how she
Ugh.
acts, she sings, she dances, she rides motorcycles.
First of all, bad sign. Like, if you are a prospective talent, you will be tempted to say, "Here are all of the things that I can do."
Right.
But when someone who's looking at you and trying to judge you, and they're just getting this cursory glance, they're going to see that and think, why are you doing 7 things?
Right.
You're probably not doing any of them well. Like, when you
Right.
have to get to a certain point where people know you at least do 1 or 2 things well before
Right.
they'll give you that credit of, oh, he can probably do some of these 7 things. Otherwise, they see you're full of shit. You're probably, of these 7 projects you've done, you're probably the boss on 6 of them, and you're not really actually doing these.
You know what? There's a name for that they call. You might have heard it go by Jack of all trades. They hear it as Jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly. You want to present yourself as an expert and then branch out. That's how you
Right.
do it. That's how you do it. But no,
No, I
I-
did really like the history lesson. How the first
yeah.
scene shot was a black man riding a horse.
I also really liked the touch about how that was word for word their dad's presentation, because
Mhm.
you pick that up later in the movie.
Right, I like that too.
Because it's another added part. Because at first you're like, oh wow, at least she's got this great polish and this great showmanship, which she still did have. But it
Mhm.
was nice to be like, oh wow, that's been their family's thing for a minute. And there were those nice little like, there was a lot. That's why I appreciate the movie on a second viewing, because there's
Mhm.
a lot more to be picked up when you know what's coming. Like the scene where they go to sell Lucky, and just when they're in there with Jupe, and then
Mhm.
the
Oh, you wanna
second
buy him back?
room. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, you want
Yeah.
to buy him back? You know, that same offer's still on the table. And then he's like, I usually charge people for this. The whole like that whole scene, just it's much different, and I can appreciate it much more upon a second viewing. And then, when I understand the whole Gordy's house thing, it adds.
Yeah.
It does add when you understand like what Jupe went through, how
Mhm.
he made his money off of this untrained animal going crazy, for him to be the guy that then was like, oh, we found aliens, let's feed them every Friday for 6 months, nothing bad could happen here. Like there's like a Shakespearean tragedy element to it, where it's like, well, this guy really should have known better.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, so it really is deep, but that doesn't mean it's flawless, right? There are tons of random times where all of a sudden you can look at him and it's not a big deal, because apparently
he's not looking at you.
Apparently he doesn't see you, so you can look at him now. It's fine as long as you're in this horse barn or whatever. But
and then there was and I'll hit on that in a moment. And then you look at like when you first meet Stephen Yeun's character Jupe.
Yep.
He's buying all these horses, but you don't fucking see horses at his place.
It's true.
So where the fuck are they? And then with the creature, like you said, where he's Otis Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He's hiding in the fucking one of the sheds.
Yep.
Because, they have sheds for the horses so that way they get shelter out of the sun or whatever. You don't see him tear apart the fucking building until he tears apart the fucking building. So why wasn't he just tearing apart fucking buildings to eat these people?
Yeah.
Because he would get indigestion.
That's right.
Yeah.
The indigestion. Yep. That was, which was a good touch.
And he would have to suck up a Tum strap.
Yeah.
The one scenes that I hated, but they were well done. It was very claustrophobic when you're watching the people be eaten. Like, it just felt very weird.
It was rough.
It wasn't necessary
rough
at all to the plot, and they never really followed up on it. It was just like, hey, you want to feel claustrophobic for a minute? Like, sure.
I
thanks.
mean, you got to see what was really going on up there.
You did get to see that it was, a being.
It was
instead of
organic. It was like an organic being. Or
But
whatever.
it
It's not
felt
like
like it went on for a while.
Yeah.
It did. It went on for like way too long.
Especially without showing, like, they didn't show the lady be digested. It just, like, kept showing her scream.
Is it weird? I was disappointed.
It's
You would
Chekhov's
think.
gun for a reason, right? If
Yeah.
you show it, you're supposed to pay it off. Like, otherwise, it's like an unfinished harmony, Like, I just have a headache now.
I thought the movie was really good, and then the ending was difficult for me. It was outrageous. It got kind of like too much, like extra.
Yeah, with the wishing well photo
And
That
the eating the balloon, but
Made it
also
pop.
how you guys talked about how it went
how
all.
the fuck did that work?
yeah.
I don't know. I guess there must have been helium or something and it doesn't like helium.
I'll have to watch
Maybe.
an ending explained on that, because that's a good point. Why did that just
Because the balloon
Endgame
popped, I
it.
guess, when
Yeah.
it like when it went to eat it. So it'd be like if we, I don't know, if we swallow. I don't know.
It's like if we shoved full balloons, if we somehow could shove full balloons down our throat and it popped in our stomach, would we explode? I mean, it's built out of something different
This
for
is
sure.
I don't think
That's
that's
weird, right? That was weird.
It was
I mean, maybe if we ate a helium balloon, our stomachs could pop.
Yeah.
And
Maybe it
it
would
was
just make our
essentially a large
grumble
stomach.
in a higher pitch.
And the idea that
Then
this
it became a jellyfish.
cheap, weird, like amusement park camera that's in the bottom of a well
Was the money shot
that
somehow?
creates this giant Polaroid, like that.
Yeah.
That there aren't going to be millions of skeptics that just say like, "Oh yeah, that's bullshit."
I don't
Like,
know if you can get that angle from that deep of a well, too. I don't know. Because I was watching that, and even with the kids there, when it was taking pictures of the kids, I was like, look, it's been a while since I've been a photographer, but I was a photographer for a long time. It's not that, I don't think that would happen that way. I just don't think that angle is going to work with that lens. I'm just calling bullshit. I'm gonna call bullshit
Yeah.
until someone proves me
And
wrong.
to have a $20,000 camera sitting at the bottom of the fucking well.
Yeah, and there's no way, by the way, because if it ever rains, that camera's fucked. So
Yeah.
like,
Right.
there's no way it was that high quality of a camera because they'd have to replace it every once in a while due to the elements. So just it's that. it got to be extra. You know, like it went
wasn't
from a manta ray to this weird like
Man of
alien
War.
jellyfish, and it didn't hold the same. I don't. It like
Yeah.
transformed.
Made no sense. There was no like where were its organs?
Yeah.
You know, like when
yeah,
it
where did she
transformed.
go?
Okay,
It
so
looked like
not
something like a
every creature
kite.
has organs.
Yeah.
Like it's just direct nutritional absorption. Okay, sure.
Fair.
So it's
I
like
suppose.
a plant,
Kinda. Like a
For the
carnivorous plant, maybe.
carnivorous.
Yeah, and it just I don't know. It thought and that was
An airplane.
where it did things. I understand wanting to subvert expectations, but then when you're doing it just to do it, and you have things like, oh hey, we've got this hand operated camera, and so we got the money
Yeah.
shot, but we'll just have the guy decide he wants to be eaten, and then we'll have them get a magic photo in a wishing well. Like why? Why was that?
Well, he left the big ass camera down there with all the film. He took the like secondary one, I thought.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah.
So
I don't get it. I
Yeah.
don't maybe he wanted to film what it was like to be like taken up or something weird.
Yeah, no idea. Apparently I think based on his voice, I think he probably only had a few months to live from lung cancer.
Yeah.
He
and,
said-
he was ready
He
to
said
go.
we don't deserve the impossible, and then he ran off to go get eaten by a manta ray with a dust devil inside of it. So
he was some kind of
When
I-
he
Hunter
shot
S.
from some
Thompson
fucking
proxy.
antlers.
I think he
Yeah.
was refusing to work with them further. I don't know. Maybe he
It's a hell of a
thought
way
that
to
he
quit.
would never be able to do anything better. You know, he's a
Maybe.
dramatic artist.
Yeah,
Not
he's the
dramatic.
kind of artist that just makes me want to leave the room. Where I'm like, okay, listen, dude, like you're taking it way too seriously. You need to calm down.
Yeah.
It's pronounced cinema.
It didn't make sense though. It's not something you would think a
Purple
person would do
people.
in real life. So it was a bit of a throw.
Yeah.
And I think they went too big with it at the end, just
Mhm.
personally. That's where they
Yeah.
lost me, was at the end. When he transformed into the like crazy ass kite thing. It
And the-
threw me a lot.
And the TMZ guy, who at first
threw me too.
was believable enough, but when
Yeah.
he is broken in half and he's like in the process of dying, and he's like, my camera, can you take a photo of me?
It was very House of Wax.
It's like, dude,
Yeah.
that's not.
Paris Hilton, House of
That
Wax.
is, there is no one that desperate that once they're literally about to die,
Save me.
that their
Yeah.
survival instincts do not kick in because they're that much of a drone. Like, no,
Right.
that
Right.
does not. Like, and again, didn't find it to be super necessary to the plot for him to
No.
act that way. So it was just like, what? And that's when I think there are times as artists you have to always remember to entertain comes first, your message comes second. And there are times when like I have so much to say, so I really want to shit on TMZ and make sure that those people know how I feel about them. So I'm going to add this extra scene that makes no fucking sense so that way I can shit on these types of journalists. And I'm cool. I cool with putting messages, but like the entertainment is always step one, right? You're
Right.
telling stories, right? You're not writing persuasive speeches for communications class.
No.
You're trying to entertain folks. So that being said, I was entertained. This is a good movie. I don't know if it's my favorite Jordan Peele movie. That's kind of a tough one.
That's my
But-
first one.
Was that your first one?
Yeah.
Oh man, I would say Get Out is still my favorite.
I'll need to watch it.
Just because like it was the right time. So like now Jordan Peele's whole thing is that he has to be unique and weird. You know, it has to be something else. And
That's fair.
so like he's almost already becoming a gimmick, where it's, you know, oh, every Jordan Peele movie isn't what it seems. Whereas with Get Out, it was the first time, you know what I mean? So it was organic
okay.
and it worked because we weren't all wise to it yet. But yeah, and Us, to be honest, Us doesn't work for me. I think it's a very sloppy, like Us is a better example of when the message makes more. the message is apparently more important than telling an entertaining story. And it's this whole thing about Hands Across America and all this weird stuff where everybody got cloned. And it just, I don't know. I would definitely put Nope above Us. But for my money, Get Out is still Jordan Peele's best work.
Okay.
I would highly suggest it. Lots of, and it's another one that warrants a second watch, because once you do know the twist, you're like, okay, yeah, I need to go back and see how was this laid out for me. But yeah, I would suggest they watch Nope, but we also have what was it, Megan, which is upcoming this Friday?
Yeah, January 6th of 2023.
It's like
guess what we gotta do on Tuesday?
Go see Megan.
Absolutely.
I might do that as well. Yeah, we can make that a topic for next week for sure. Now,
Yeah.
I have a couple thoughts on this one. The first one being this kind of feels like a Chucky remake. But secondly, I noticed that they are taking the Smile approach to marketing. I saw it
Genius.
football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like if you have a creepy Halloween-esque monster thing,
Mhm.
like especially if they're like human adjacent, put them in a football stadium. It's great marketing. People are like, what the hell is that?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's going to catch somebody's eye, and they're not going to forget it at the game. So, and then apparently the news gets around to people like us.
Yep.
Yeah, because people will tweet it because there is a entire genre of just sports highlight clippers. So there are people that just watch the game with their phones out, with their cameras out, ready to grab 20 seconds to a minute of footage. So when they see a creepy person in the stands, they're like, "Oh, hey, cool, this is great." And then
Right.
and that was what was so cool about Smile, was it started out organically because people were really like, what are these creepy people doing? And then after a while it came out as like an ad program. But now like we're wise to it, and it's a little different because these people were dressed as the Megan doll,
Right.
Not just a
person
who has a creepy smile who they said,
Right.
"Here, stand here."
Yeah.
No, and I going back to Smile, man, that I feel that the ad campaign was very misleading for the actual movie.
Yes.
Because like I thought it was more of like a
End of the world scenario.
not even quite that, but like epidemic, where it was more widespread than just individual.
So kind of like a Bird Box almost, but
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Whereas as opposed to just an individual, yes,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, it makes sense. Smile was a tough one to put. Yeah, Smile's advertising should have been "It follows, but different."
Yeah.
And then we'd all have been like, "Okay, I got it. I'll go see it."
Yeah.
But Megan looks more interesting to me than Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we're all fascinated by the idea of AI. So
Yes.
whether you're scared of it, neutral, all for it, angry about it, it doesn't matter. I think we're all a little curious in the end. That's what's fueling all of us behind AI. So I'm really looking forward to seeing like the sci-fi process of the whole movie as well, because I feel Chucky didn't have that. Chucky didn't have sci-fi. They had supernatural horror.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and they tried in the newest Chucky.
Oh, did they?
The Mark Hamill voice Chucky. It's and I don't know that it's AI, but it is more of a modern take. So they recently did a remake where, yeah, it's a robot kind of Chucky, whatever. There's a chip in it of some kind. Because I want to say, I didn't watch it. I can't remember the plot, but it's essentially someone fucks with the chip or something.
Makes
Like,
it evil.
they turn the evil switch on. Exactly. Like something
okay,
stupid
okay.
like that. But it is a more modern version where, yes, the original was literally a dude who knew voodoo chanting his soul into a doll.
Right.
Yeah, because he was like a prisoner or something. and-
Yeah.
I started on Bride of Chucky actually, so
Oh, they were heavy
Simpsons
into
did
the
it.
witchcraft by then.
So,
yeah.
So
there
I
was
think,
a Treehouse of Horror where the Krusty doll
remember that.
It was switched to the evil setting, and when it was the good setting, it did the taxes for The Simpsons.
Oh.
See, when
I
I
need
was
one
a
of those.
kid, the dolls that would do horrible things to you in the middle of the night were kind of soulless. You remember those Cabbage Patch Kid dolls? They ate your hair. It was like a Cabbage Patch doll that came with food that you could put into its mouth, and it would eat it, and it would fall down. It was like plastic food or whatever. And little girls would fall asleep, or little boys maybe, but they would have to have had some kind of long hair. But they would fall asleep with this doll, and it started eating their hair in the middle of the night, and so they recalled the dolls. I remember that. I almost got one,
What?
or I asked for one, and my parents said no because of that reason or something.
That is crazy. No, I am blessed. I don't know if I had any toys that were eating things. I think my Ultimate Warrior doll used to run around my crib and try to break out, but you know, that's what happens when you have wrestling toys as a kid. No, I didn't have it. I don't have
Furbies
any.
were creepy.
Oh, fuck
Oh,
yeah, Furbies were creepy as shit. I never wanted a Furby.
I had two.
Nope. Yeah,
They
you got
woke
a
me up
little
in the middle of the
robot
night.
speaking in tongues at me. No, I don't want
Right?
that.
They talk to each other too. That's
Yeah.
they
And
mine
they
woke
plot
up in the middle of the
against
night.
you.
I
They are
mean,
the
there are
Satan.
theories.
They do not bring glory to
This
Jehovah.
is the stuff of creepy pasta. Jehovah's Witnesses writing creepy pasta. Can you imagine?
That is fantastic.
But
Yeah.
don't even get me started if you picked up a Furby at a yard sale.
Oh, don't buy. No. Don't buy anything that can, like, animatronic, anything that may have a misplaced soul living in it. Don't buy that at a yard sale, okay? No.
Yard
Only
sales do
Ouija
not bring
boards.
glory to Jehovah.
You should buy all your Ouija boards at yard sales.
Yeah.
And
And-
Jumanji.
And
Tarot
your,
cards.
and your ventriloquist dolls.
Actually, tarot cards are traditionally given as a gift, but
And that is a great way to end it. We will see you guys next week.
adios.
Be sure to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Bye.
Yes.
Ganoush.
Subscribe.